Welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence Ask the Experts, a live bi-weekly show to help you know what to do and what's new in digital marketing for 2021 and beyond. Ask questions, suggest topics, and grow faster with actionable insights and proven strategies from the world's leading experts. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence Ask the Experts. I'm Marissa Morgan, your show host today and the Business Development Manager at Engage. On behalf of my entire team at Engage, I want to welcome you to our bi-weekly show. If you're watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you found the right place. Today's guest is going to share with us some incredible insights on the topic of the digital transformation. What is it? Why it's essential? And the questions we need to be asking ourselves as we start to implement our digital strategies in order to be successful and profitable, and most importantly, to grow in 2021 and beyond. Make sure you stick around after our talk. I will share our digital marketing news of the week. You don't want to miss that. And before we get started, I want to share that all of this valuable information today is brought to you by Engage. Now, Engage is the world's only free forever suite of over 25 different tools to help you optimize the customer experience for your business. I'm going to pop a slide up here to just kind of summarize in just a few bullet points what Engage is all about. It's all about providing convenience to your customers, allowing you to engage with your customers where they are, which is often on your website or on their mobile apps and on their phone and on social media. We're going to talk about that today. Also, Engage allows you to build trust. You can personalize engagement and product recommendations. That, of course, shows your customers that you care and you're interested in their needs. And that is the essence of trust. You can sign up for Engage at engage.com. It is free forever, and there are no locks, no upgrades, and no limits on any of the features on our free forever software. I'm going to go ahead and pop up the engage.com information there on the screen for you. If you're watching this on your mobile device, give it a screenshot so that after the show, you can go to www.ngagge.com and check us out. Also, be sure to follow us and connect with us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the hot spot, the place to be right now, especially in the world of digital marketing. And on our LinkedIn page, when you follow us, you'll get updates on our bi-weekly show. You'll know when the next show is, who our guest is, and the topic. So if you're looking to grow and be more profitable in 2021, you definitely want to follow Engage. That's our company page on LinkedIn. Okay, without further ado, it is time for me to introduce our new guest expert for this week to our show. Visiting us all the way from Scottsdale, Arizona, Tyson Gaylord. All right, Tyson is the founder of Max Romulus Marketing. He is the host of the Social Chameleon podcast. He is an inspirational coach and a self-proclaimed transformational shaper. I might have to ask him exactly what a transformational shaper is when we start this show. His mission, simply put, is to help you learn, grow, and transform your life. And he loves to share the life lessons he's learned through his own successes and his own failures, and all the nuggets he's learned in master classes and through reading and his time in the Army with his clients through personal coaching and his weekly podcast, The Social Chameleon. He is here today to help us understand exactly what digital transformation is, why it's essential, and most importantly, the questions we need to be asking ourselves as we begin embarking on digital strategies. And we're going to talk about some of the tools we all can use to grow more profitably. He is joining us from Scottsdale. I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're tuning in, and I see so many of you are watching right now on LinkedIn Live, welcome to our show. Please leave us a note in the comment section. Let us know where you are watching from. And if you have any questions at all during the show for Tyson, you can leave those comments in the comment section as well. Tyson, quite the introduction. Welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence. Ask the Experts.
Oh, thank you, Marissa. I'm humbled. What a great introduction. You really nailed that one.
Well, I want to just touch base really quick before we get into the company that you founded and your podcast. What exactly would you say is a transformational shaper?
It's a word we invented. The premise is to help you transform through your transformation. My job is to help shape that and help you think about things or walk you through things. Just kind of all encompassing all of that.
Awesome. Well, we're really happy to have you here, and you have a very unique background, going all the way back to the Army, owning a fence company, getting into marketing. You're an avid reader. Tell us a little bit more about, the path that led you to found Max Romulus Marketing, and then ultimately lead you to decide to host your own podcast. How did that all work out?
Sure. Yeah. So when I was, I didn't own the fence company, but I was the CEO of that. And it was very time consuming. I don't know if anybody's ever been in the construction industry or kind of around that type of deadline, high paced things. It was time consuming, and it was a lot. It was fun and it was good. But then I had my son, and I really wanted to spend more time. I wanted to be able to free up my time and not be at the kind of the beck and call of others. So I decided to start my own thing and then be able to be in control of my own destiny.
I like that. And I think especially today, when a lot of people are looking to pivot, looking to make changes, as they've survived this pandemic, so many of us want to have more free time. We want to continue to do what we love. And we're all looking for ways to be able to do what you've done. So congratulations on achieving that goal. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So you do a lot of coaching, you do a lot of consulting and inspiring not only, business owners and CEOs, but potentially other coaches and people in the marketing world. Tell me if there is one common problem that you find your clients are coming to you to help solve.
I think initially the thing people are having trouble with or seeking advice or something along those lines is it's revenue or something along those lines, either growing it or capturing it or something like that. It's always it's the base level when people are looking for something. It's usually money related. That seems to be the pain point most people kind of come after.
And I'm not surprised you said that, because we always start our shows asking our guests, what is the one thing people are looking for you to help solve? And almost always it's revenue, more leads, more, faster converting, clients. So that doesn't surprise me. We also always ask our guests if you find that is a common problem throughout different industries, geography, company size, or does that change depending on those factors?
It doesn't really change per se, but what it is money is usually the surface level problem. Is really when talking and kind of getting into things, you find deeper level problems, and then that really depends from industry to industry, from solopreneur to mom working a separate thing or side gigging to 1 to 10 employees. That's when things start to get different, because everybody's got different objectives, different goals, different end game. That really changes a lot here to there. But it's that surface level stuff that starts there, and then from there, when you start digging in, you really start to see what people are really after.
Absolutely. It definitely takes time, right, to get the full vision of what's happening at a company, and what some of their surface problems may be, but how far deep those problems go in the company culture or the sales force. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's true. Tyson, my comment thread is blowing up. I've invited the world to comment and let us know where in the world they are watching from. So I hope you don't mind. We're going to share some of those comments.
No.
Michael is watching from Toronto, Canada, and he says hello. He's watching on LinkedIn. Michael, thank you for tuning in. Paige is watching from Southern California, but she's from Gilbert, Arizona.
Awesome. Hey.
Hey, Paige, thank you so much for supporting your fellow Arizonian over here. Clyde, I'm so happy to see you again. Clyde has been tuning in for all of our shows, and he's a wonderful participant, always has great questions. So, Clyde, tuning in from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Clyde, thank you so much. Another, I want to say OG, another original gangster, Achochi is watching. He says, greetings once again, Marissa. I'm joining from Nigeria. That is wonderful, Achochi. Thank you so much. Wow, the comments just keep on flowing. Kendra watching from Costa Rica, but she
Ooh.
lives in Scottsdale. So she must be on a tropical vacation. Kendra, maybe at work. That's awesome. Thank you for watching. Bashkar is watching from India. Bashkar. I think I said that right. Bhaskar. Very nice. And then Payush is also watching from India. So I think we just spanned the world in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, amazing.
Way to go, Tyson. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions along the way or you need anything repeated, this is a live show and we're all about interaction. So leave your questions or comments in the comment section. Okay, let's get into today's topic. So, Tyson, we're here to talk about the digital transformation. We're going to explore what it is. We're going to explore why it's essential. You put this up on the screen. We're going to talk a little bit about strategy. Now, in your world, Tyson, strategy starts with questioning, doesn't it? It's all about questions.
Absolutely.
So talk about that. And then we're going to share just a few easy, very simple tools that you can use as you start to transform or shift into a digital marketing strategy. So let's start off our show with me asking you, Tyson, for people tuning in who are like, digital transformation, what is that? Share with us, your thoughts and words on what exactly the digital transformation is.
I mean, simply put, it's the traditional things you were doing, or maybe you're starting new and you don't know how to get into this digital world. It's starting with a base. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? And nowadays, we all know digital is the things that are happening. Mobile's happening. These things are happening, especially as a lot more people and companies and employers are more comfortable with you being at home, maybe working from home, maybe working remotely, these types of things. So we all know digital is one avenue that we need to think about as part of our strategy. And we need to learn maybe to transform into this. Maybe you're old school. Maybe you're not. You're new to this. Maybe you're fresh out of school. Maybe you're a teenager. Maybe you're something, whatever, doing something. And it's, understanding where you want to be and transforming and be able to move in between these different things.
Absolutely. In the past, we had traditional marketing media. We had newspapers, magazines, direct sales. We had trade shows. Remember the days when we had trade shows, or, our previous guest did door-to-door sales selling cable. That was his
direct
first
mail
job in college. Shout out to you, Patrick Ryan, if you're watching. And now we're looking to shift to be where our customers are. And as you just mentioned, one of the big places that our customers are now is they're on their cell phones and they're on different social apps. You may call it social marketing, social media, different social apps. So the digital transformation, like you said, is all about where you were, where you want to be, and developing the right strategy, right, Tyson, to make sure you end up in the right place in the digital arena, right?
Or even understanding when you're in the wrong place. Maybe you thought this is where you wanted to be, but being able to be upfront and being okay with this was wrong. We need to move.
Okay. Ooh, so admitting you maybe made a mistake, even if it was a costly one.
That's
maybe
fine.
Maybe you spent a lot of money on a Facebook campaign only to go, wait a minute, my target demographic really isn't even on Facebook. Ooh, okay. So admitting when you're wrong. Let's talk about why it's essential. Some people are of the school, the idea, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Hey, what's wrong with print ads? What's wrong with still being at trade shows? Or my customer isn't on social media. Why is it essential to pivot, to adapt, and to really embrace the digital culture?
Maybe it's not. And But this is where it goes back to the beginning here. You need to understand what's happening. It have you gone one-on-one with your what you're doing now versus picking up a digital strategy? The great thing about digital is the ability to just fine tune in on exactly where you want to be. I want to target people that live in 85296 zip code, and that's it. And that's the great thing about digital. You can't do that with a newspaper. You can't do that with billboards. You can't see when these people are calling this phone number, when they're clicking this link, where they're coming from. Is this working? Now, maybe what you're doing is better. I don't know, but that's not for me to tell you to do. But are you testing things? Are you trying things? Are you just saying, I'm old school, I don't do that, and throwing my hands up and saying this? And maybe you're going to go to business. I don't know. But are you testing? Are you understanding? Are you asking the right questions? Are you trying things? That's what I want people to do. I want you to try. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying Marissa's right. I'm not saying anybody's right. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. But are you testing? Are you trying things? Are you giving things a fair shot? Are you coming in here with knowledge and information and putting it to the test?
I like that you brought up in answering why it's essential to pivot and work digital strategy and digital marketing into your plan. I like that you brought up the idea that a newspaper may not touch just a certain, area code, or it may obviously be a certain zip code, but it may not be exactly where it needs to be in terms of your target demographic or your age demographic, whatever. It is true that nowadays we have mobile apps, we have social media, we have websites, we have these opportunities to be on live streams. People are on their phones all the time. We have a lot more opportunities in digital marketing. And as you just mentioned too, it's very easy now to test and do beta testing online and through digital marketing. You can't do that. You can't go to a newspaper company, pay to run an ad, even if the ad's on their website. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of digital, but you can't go back to that newspaper and say, can I have my money back because I didn't get a single lead from my ad? You can't do that. But certainly if you want to run different tests and advertise to different demographics on different sites, you can right on your own screen see the results and see what works and what doesn't, right?
Yeah, you can have results in seconds, and you can get very granular. I'm sure past guests have talked about this, and definitely going to talk about it in the past or in the future. You can test color, words, headlines, first person, third person, second person. You can test all of these in this minute amount of details in seconds. And if you have a large enough audience, or you have maybe a large enough budget, you can get results in minutes, hours, days, versus testing a headline in a magazine or a newspaper. Maybe you find your winner and you throw it in a magazine versus very cheap and effective Google AdWords, Facebook ads. And then you run the big campaign on the billboard when you found your winners, when you've tasted all these little different tweaks and stuff. That's where your opportunities are. That's where the things are when you're doing these different things, taking advantage maybe of both mediums, but being in digital, it's quick, it's easy, and it can be very inexpensive to test tons of different variables. A lot of times simultaneously. You can split test emails so quickly. You can send it to small segments of your audience. The opportunities are endless, and it's really limited to your imagination.
The opportunities really are endless, as are our viewers today. Very impressive viewership today, Tyson. Everybody's so interested to hear all of your great tips and insights. We have Brandon tuning in from North Carolina, from Charlotte. Thank you so much. He's watching on LinkedIn. Phil is joining us from St. George, Utah. Thank you so much, Phil. And then Mike is tuning in from South Florida. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mike. Those of you watching, if you have any questions at all as we continue our talk, please leave your questions or comments in the comment section. We would love to answer them for you live during our show. Okay, so we explored, if you're just joining us, welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence, Ask the Experts. I'm Marissa, your host, and with us today is Tyson Gaylord. And what we're talking about is the digital transformation, what that is, why it's important or essential, and different questions to be asking yourself as you're starting to create a digital marketing strategy. So let's get into the two most important questions that we should be asking ourselves, Tyson, as we start to explore transforming into the digital marketing world. What is the first question a business should be asking itself? before implementing a digital strategy?
I think one of the very first questions you should be asking is what is it? What are you doing? What are you selling? All these. I mean, the question can be very. You can get very granular. Maybe you need to start at a high level concept and work your way down. But what is it? What are you doing? What is the objective? What is your metric? What does success look like to you? Success could be so many different things. But you've got to start. You've got to know where's the end. And you got to start the end in mind, and then we can work our way backwards, and then we can have a beginning. But if we don't know where we're going, we don't know where we're headed, we don't have a destination, we don't set the GPS, we have no idea where we're going. So you got to understand it. You got to start with that.
You know what, to make that more narrow, I think we can ask ourselves, are we business to business, right?
Sure.
Or are we business to consumer? Because, what do you want? Ultimately, we all want to reach our customers, but if you're business to business, your marketing strategy that you decide to implement, meaning what social platforms you may be on, might be different than if you're business to consumer. I think business to business, I think LinkedIn. But then I think business to consumer, I say Facebook, Instagram, maybe Twitter. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can even age down to TikTok. You can, there are emerging platforms, maybe Clubhouse or some of these other things that are coming out. There's also some crypto based social things that are coming out. Maybe you want to see what's going on there, what kind of age demographics there. There's endless opportunities, but like you said, business to business, there's a completely different strategy. The lead times are a lot longer. Do you have enough cash to be going after those people? If you're looking at 6, 8, 10, 12, 18-month lead times to implement strategies to get contracts going, do you have enough capital to run that? Always different strategies, and customer to customer. And you got to understand who exactly is my customer. If you think everyone, you need to think again. Maybe you should get out of business because that's not a real thing. But these are the things you got to definitely think about.
Okay, so when we talk about business strategy, Tyson's advice to you is to ask yourself the question first, are you business to business or are you business to consumer? Because that is going to immediately direct your social platform choice, your digital marketing strategy. If you're marketing something and you are a business to consumer company, Instagram's a great choice for you. Instagram has it set up to just have these great ads that run, that are colorful, that are easy for people to click. Maybe you have a low risk, low price item that you just want to reach your target demographic, and that's 20 to 40-year-old males. Instagram can help you do that so easily. If you're business to business and there are maybe 6 steps in your sales funnel and making a deal might take 6 months, you're not going to be advertising your product or your services on Instagram. Am I right, Tyson?
I don't know. It's possible.
True.
But are the CEOs or the CTOs or the COOs or who are you after? Do they hang out there? Maybe they come across your thing, or they come across some little beautiful informational thing you can do on Instagram or you could do on these other platforms. I don't know. That's the problem. That's the thing. That's the honesty there. I don't know, but you've got to test. You got to try, and then you can double down on what's working. But unless you're trying, unless you're understanding first, like we talked about, what's the baseline? Let's set this foundation. What are we doing? Okay, we're going business to business. Okay, great. In this business to business, who is the decision maker? Who do we need to talk to? Is it CTOs? Okay, where do CTOs hang out? Are they on Reddit? Maybe they are. Are they on Clubhouse? Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know your business, whatever. But this is what you got. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try these different buckets. And we're starting to put some things in these buckets. All right. What buckets are going to fill up? Okay, let's get a bigger bucket and let's start doubling down. These are the things you got to be asking yourself. I don't know the right answer. And if anybody does, they're full of shit. So that's what you got to know.
No curse words on our show.
Sorry about that. But basically,
that's a curse word, so it's okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So somebody tells you they know they have a direct answer. They're not truthful. They just are maybe going off maybe the product they're selling, whatever. So you got to test. And maybe you find an opportunity that nobody else is at. There's a great concept, also a book of blue ocean and red ocean strategies. I would highly recommend you guys taking a look at that. Are you swimming in a red ocean? Is everybody telling you, and is everything you're seeing is the new thing is this? webinar strategy. Well, a lot of times that's, become bloody waters. Where's the new opportunity? Peter Thiel likes to say, competitions for losers. What are you doing? Are you creating a new segment? Are you creating a new vertical? Maybe that's where you need to be at. I just want you to ask questions. I want you to test things.
I like all of those tips and insights. And maybe, just maybe, the question is also, I don't know, could be. But I have a question from Mike, and he's curious. Do you think business to business works on Facebook? And then he also chimes in after that asking about YouTube. I know, Tyson, you're a big, I don't know person, because it really does depend on the product, on the business, on the demographic, 100%. I think that's another moment where you have to ask yourself those questions, which we're going to get to in just a minute. So maybe I'll hang tight on this, but just what's your initial thought on that? Do you see business to business working for Facebook and YouTube?
Of course, they're a $1 billion company. There's a reason that they've gotten this way, but is it for you? I don't know. Have you tried it? Have you tested it? Like I said, are you just saying, oh, well, this is where this is happening, so I'm going on Facebook? Do you know who you're targeting? Do your customers hang out there? I don't know. I have no idea. There's Facebook groups that are with lots of extremely wealthy and high powerful people. They're only going on there to maybe be in that Facebook group. Is there an opportunity to maybe target them on some sidebar ads or something? Possibly. I don't know. But if you're not testing, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, it's not going to be a pleasant time.
Mike just chimed in. Great comment, Mike. I'll pop that up. It's all about testing and strategy, and you need to be flexible. So far, I noticed the first 3 months are the hardest. Mm-hmm. That makes sense because, social media and social platforms are evolving so quickly. They're also changing so quickly. So I'm on Clubhouse, and the last 3 times I logged into my Clubhouse app, there was a big bar at the top that said, we have new updates, right? Click here to learn what's new on Clubhouse. And that is because they've been beta testing and changing and adapting and pivoting and adding new features. And this is literally like every week. So I think that's a really good point that Mike brought up. Anytime you're testing, you have to be patient. And even though you can get results quickly, it still may take time to pinpoint where your ideal target demographic is and what social platforms they are on and what time of day they're on and where they are on the platform.
Real quick on this topic. Also, when you're testing, don't give up too quickly. Make sure you're running through a bunch of scenarios. Make sure you're running through a bunch of things. Maybe if you're getting stuck, if you're seeing yourself maybe stagnated or not seeing results, now you've done your homework and my clients are here. I'm not seeing what I'm doing. Maybe that's an opportunity to get with some experts or something like that. Maybe, make sure you're testing things. Make sure you're going through different things. Make sure you're trying different headlines, pictures, whatever you're doing. Make sure you're running through a bunch of scenarios first before you give up. A lot of times I see, I tried Facebook ads. How many? 1. How did it work out? It was horrible. Did you try anything else? No, it didn't work. And it goes for every platform. So make sure you give yourself, like I said, if you know what success looks like, and maybe it's just a granular success. Can we change this and get a 1%, a 5% bump? Go along this path, give it a fair shake before you kind of give up.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. It's always the person that throws in the towel first, I feel, is the one sitting there watching. Watching while somebody else obviously takes the prize, going, if I had just stuck in there for 2 more days. There's an analogy, and I think it can apply to businesses as well. There's an analogy my acting teacher shared with me when I was in acting school. And she said, Marissa, there is only room at the top of the Christmas tree for 1 star. And the further you go down, the more branches are, the more room there are for ornaments. But as you get towards the top, and her it's a great analogy just to say, you got to stay in there. You have to do the work. When it comes to implementing a social media or a digital marketing strategy, testing is a huge part of the process. And you have to trust that it is a process. Nobody wins overnight. You don't put 1 ad on Facebook. And there you go. You're retired in Costa Rica with our friends who was tuning in. Who's tuning in from Costa Rica? Kendra. Let's
Yeah.
move on to our second question, Tyson. And
Can I pause real quick for 1 second on that? If you do win out the gate, you need to do like a post-mortem and understand why you won. And it ain't because you're just hot. What do we do right here? Can we replicate this? So if you hit these winners out the gate, what was the secret sauce? Take a second to find out what that was.
And we're going to talk about tools in just a few minutes. Right away in my mind, CRM. When you find something that works, you need to have the tools in place to document that so that you can repeat it. So we'll get to tools in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm going to spill the beans on the next question. So when we're talking about strategy, Tyson, the first question you're asking yourself is, are you business to business or are you business to consumer? Because that may completely dictate where you're going to go, what platform. And that's important. You want to be where your customers are, not they're on their cell phones. Where are they on their cell phones? You want it to be as specific as you can to win. Now let's talk about that second question, which is, who's your ideal customer, right? What do they look like? Where do they hang out? What do they want? What are their problems? Isn't that the next thing we really need to ask ourselves?
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we've alluded to here. If you can actually have like 2 pictures hanging on like your office wall or something like that of a male and a female, or if you're just targeting male or females, whatever it is, you can actually have a picture, some kind of composite drawing or some type of stock image or whatever of your customer. And you can really talk to this person. Like I'm going to talk to, this lady here, this, Marissa. She's a 32-year-old up and coming, a businesswoman. And when I talk to her, I know how to talk with her. I know what her struggles are. I know what she's looking after. I know what she's doing. And I'm crafting emails and I'm crafting things. I'm looking for different stuff. I know how to speak with her. Think about like your friend or whoever that was you're talking to. You know how to talk to them. I know what you're struggling with. I know what you're doing. So if I have a picture on my wall and I'm looking, this is my ideal customer. This is who I'm talking to. And I can talk to you. And I can say, Marissa, I know it's been tough times. I know you're struggling. I know you're looking for opportunities. And you can start to really have this genuine conversation. And it comes out in like your emails and stuff. When you're really like talking to one person and you're really having this conversation with this person, you know their pains, you know their struggles, you know what they're striving for, you know what success looks like. You can really just hone in on so much. And you're not going to be these generic people. You're going to stand out so well from the company. You're going to stand out so well from other people. They're just like, are you this person? And like, well, that's like 400,000 people. I mean, but if you're like that, how did you know that about me? How do you know are you stalking? This internet's getting a little weird here. Like, you know way too much about me. But just think about like when you've gotten an email or you've seen a video or something, like you're like, they're talking to me. So if you know who your customer is and you can really drill down, you really can get very granular. And like I said, I really encourage you, if you don't have this, I want you to actually get a picture of what this person or people look like, stick them in your guys' offices. And when you're crafting these strategies and you're crafting these emails, these ads and stuff, look at like, would Tom like this? Tom, you like this? No, it sounds funny, but could you imagine like if you go to your friend and like, oh my God, I saw this thing at store. Marissa would love it. I know she's gonna love it. I'm just gonna get it and I'm gonna give it to her and she loves it. If you can do that to your customers, it's a game changer.
I love this advice because we talk a lot about content creation, creating content. The first step is figuring out which platform makes sense for you. Tyson, you're of the mindset, just because everyone's on TikTok doesn't mean you should be on TikTok, right? If your customer, if your demographic is not on TikTok, well, then maybe it is a waste of your resources to be concerned. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses, like you said. So figuring out where you need to be, where your customers are is the first thing. Then figuring out their pain points, what they need, who they are. That's the second question. And then once you know those 2 things, then like Tyson said, you put a picture on your wall of your target client, and then you can use that to create amazing copy, amazing ads, amazing content that speaks to that person. And then that to me, it's like being in the right place, knowing what your ideal for your customer, knowing what they need, their pain points. And you have this all written down in your CRM where you can make notes about, And then having the exciting copy that's talking to them and it's personal and true to them. That's like the winning strategy, because when they see the ad, which they will, because they're on the right platform that they're on,
Yeah.
and and they're like, wait a minute, this product's gonna take away my foot pain that I've been having for years. Then they are going to buy the product. Can you give me an example, Tyson? I know you work with so many different clients and companies. Can you give me an example maybe of, I don't know, a client that, I don't know, you help them figure out the best platform to be on, or they were on, like, just didn't understand how to, make the switch to digital marketing, or something didn't work out and they ended up wasting a lot of resources. I don't know. Is there an example you can share with us?
How long is the show?
Well, I'll tell you what, we got about 10 more minutes together, and then
Yeah.
I'll have to share our engaged news of the week. But we got 10
You
minutes.
know, it's most people that I talk to, whether it's a client or not, whether it's somebody coming to me, it's because you haven't done these steps. It's because you just jump right in. Maybe you have a fabulous idea. Maybe your idea is crap. I don't know. But if you haven't sat down and had this conversations with yourself or your team or whatever it is, and you haven't gone through these things and given these things thought, given these things a fair shot, and tested all these things, you're just not going to be able to have success. Lightning might strike in your bottle. You might just run into something, but you're not going to be able to replicate. Like I was talking about earlier, if you hit this out of the gate, you can't replicate it. It's just because you stumbled into something. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about, and it's okay if you're there. That's fine. It's all right. Don't get down on yourself. Just figure out, oh man, you know what? Thank you, Tyson. I've been feeling that way. It's okay. Sit down right now, have an honest conversation with yourself. You're only lying to yourself, and go through these things. Who is my target? I'm looking at 14-year-old girls. They're on TikTok. Okay, good. I know that now. So I can stop wasting my time on Facebook. I can stop wasting my time over here. Or maybe the 14-year-old girls, they used to be on Instagram, and I'm still heavy on Instagram, and I haven't moved away from it because I haven't reevaluated what's going on. And so you got to sit down. You got to have these hard conversations. You got to reevaluate them quarterly, maybe monthly. I don't know what your business is like, but have these things. Sit down with your team. Whatever you got to do. It just starts with when you have a solid foundation, you can build a sturdy house. You can add on additions. You can tear down walls. You can do all kinds of things. But if you're not there, none of this stuff's going to work.
Makes sense. You have to be in the right place, absolutely, at the right time, talking to the right people. And you need to constantly evaluate that, because as fast as technology is changing, that might change also. Great, great insights. Now I have two really great questions, Tyson, for you, which is really, really great, because I think this will help a lot of people out. So Mike wants to know, what would you tell businesses is more powerful? A digital marketing agency that specializes, right, in digital marketing. They have entire teams and departments. Freelancers, maybe people who do marketing on the side, or trying to learn themselves. And in a way, I think have a little more control over it because you're doing it yourself. And this is a question from Mike. So there may be not a right answer. It may depend. Tyson may say depends. I don't know, but that's a great question, Mike. So thank you for sharing. Tyson, what do you think?
Mike, all of those things. Where are you? Are you bootstrapping this? Are you new to this? Are you working this as a side thing? Maybe you got to do it yourself. You don't have the budget for this. Then maybe you get a little long ways. Maybe you get a freelancer. Do you want to maybe open up a department in your company that is just for marketing? Maybe do you want to just work on what you're good at and hire an agency? I can't tell you the answer because I don't know the answer, because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your business is. But again, if you sit back and say, okay, we're at a stage now where you're starting. Do I do this? Well, I have a small budget. What can my budget do? Let's look at some agencies. Hey, Billy Bob Agency, I got $350 a month. What can you get me? Okay. Hey, freelancer. Well, I can get a little bit more with this freelancer stuff. Oh, what a little nights and evenings? I can get a long way with $350. I don't know what the answer is for you, but you're going to probably move through each of these stages as you go along. And if you're reevaluating these, a thing I like to kind of think about, and either I implement for myself or I talk to clients, is maybe you spend 3 to 6 months and you're just hammering away through this stuff and you're like, I am at my wits and I can't do this anymore. That probably is the point point where you need to look for a next alternative. Is it a freelancer? Is it an agency? Is it opening up a new department and hiring some employees? That's something you have to sit down with yourself. I think I'd recommend trying to go with the lowest stage until it's just so hard and so painful that you need to look for the next thing and then figure out what that is for you.
That makes sense. And I also think, and Mike, this is just my 2 cents. I'm not the expert here. I'm just your resident host. But I think too, if maybe you are the CEO, founder of your own company, maybe you have created a product and you are trying to think of a good example. You're just the brains behind maybe the technology of the product, right? And that is your strength and technology, digital marketing, follow-up, trial, beta testing, and that's not where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
How much is your time worth? Think about that. And if an expert, even if the expert's a freelancer, but a digital marketing freelancer can do 10 times as much as you, right? In 1/10 of the amount of time, and they can do it with the knowledge and the expertise behind it. That to me seems like it's going to be way more successful than you spinning your wheels trying to do it yourself. So that's just one thing to think about, is maybe stick with where you are an expert. And that is why we have people like Tyson and digital marketing professionals out there to help you. But I do know there's a digital marketing professional we had on our show, and he owns his own agency. And one of the things that he offers up, which I think is quite brilliant, is he offers to teach you how to do it, or his agency will do it for you. So that's another option, Mike. If you want help from a big agency, say, hey, I'd love for you to teach me some of the basics as I'm paying you to do it. So I can potentially break away at some point and do it on my own and not be enslaved to an agency having total control, right?
Yeah. A quick back of the napkin calculation you can kind of do is take your hourly rate and then figure out what they would charge for you to do these things hourly. So if you're worth your time is worth, or you value your time at $100 an hour, and you're out there cutting your yard when somebody can do it for $20, it's probably not a good use of your time. So all these different things that's going on in your life, you can think about these real quick things. This is my time is worth an hour. Are these services, are these things less than that? Then I'm going to outsource it. Is it the same or more? Maybe I don't have the money right now. Maybe I don't have it in my budget right now. Maybe I got to do something to get that money, and then I can go ahead and outsource those later.
That's such a great, easy way to think about it. And I have to remind myself that all the time. I always want to do everything myself.
Yeah.
Great question, Mike. Really appreciate your conversation today. So thank you for joining us. All right, last question. And then Tyson will jump into 3 simple tools that companies can implement as they begin their digital marketing strategy. So next question, last question right now, is from Clyde in the Netherlands. He says, thanks for your time, Marissa and Tyson. He says, I like the challenging questions Tyson asks before drawing a conclusion. Also says the physical picture. I will implement this strategy. Thank you. So actually not a question, more like lots of great comments.
Let us know how that works out, Clyde. I'd love to hear some follow-up on that.
Absolutely. And I do think that that's a great way. Back when I studied acting, my teacher always said, you need to visualize who you're talking to. When you're talking to a camera, you're not talking to all these people out there in an audition. Usually you're talking to one person. So when you are creating, when you've figured out where you need to be, which social platform works for you, because that's where your customers are, right? When you figured that out, then you figure out what your customers' needs and problems and pain points are. When you are writing that copy, creating that content, sending out sketches of an ad, you need to imagine talking to that one person, and then the message will resonate. So I hope that does work for you, Clyde. Thank you so much. Another comment from a good friend of mine tuning in from North Adams, Massachusetts. Jonathan says, hello, Jonathan. Thank you so much for tuning into our show today. Mike also says, thank you for answering his question. And it was his pleasure to join us today in our conversation. Awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Interaction. All right, let's end our talk. We've got just about 2 to 3 minutes left to end today's talk. Don't forget to stick around, though. I've got the Engage digital marketing tip or news of the week coming up. But let's talk a little bit about, I'll pop up the screen again just to remind you of our kind of show flow today. So we're talking about digital transformation. We talked about what it is, why it's essential. Tyson shared that questioning yourself is really the beginning to the strategy, where you need to be, making sure you're in the right place and making sure that, you are talking to the right person, right? The right, you're where you are, where your customers are, and that you know where your customers are because you do the research. Now, let's talk, Tyson, about just a few easy, simple tools that businesses can utilize. And I'm thinking about the business that currently is just a couple employees and they're maybe using an Excel spreadsheet. So let's talk about three tools: a single inbox, a
Mhm.
CRM, and then an automation option. How important is it for a company to, as they grow, learn to adapt new tools to help them grow faster and more profitably? How important is that?
I mean, Marissa, you are so busy. You know what it's like. We all know what it's like. It is a game changer. The most valuable thing we have is our time. You know, if somebody's walking down the street and they took $100 out of your pocket, you probably wouldn't be. You probably would be pretty upset. But if somebody was walking down the street and talked to you for an hour, you have no problems with that. So we got to understand how to claw back this time and how to be effective and efficient. Those are different things now. Okay, so when you're trying to be efficient, that's doing things well. If you're trying to check your LinkedIn and your Instagram and your Facebook and 14 different customer service emails and your personal email, I mean, gosh, back and forth, app to app, 87 tabs open. I mean, come
Oh,
on, it's a work. And then and the next, and sometimes, hey, it happens to me. You're like, oh, what's that? Squirrel. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's 1:30. What happened? So when you got everything in one place, like I just love this one inbox thing. It's great because you can just go through there and you can just hammer things out, and it's so great. You're not on all these different things. You're not and your time can be recouped. That is amazing. The second thing with the CRM and stuff like that, like you were talking about, we got to write these things down. We all think our memories are so great. I'll just remember all this stuff. You can't. And our memories and stuff, it's just revisionist histories in our head. So you got to go down and you got to have a place where you can confidently write these things down. So when you're confident in where you're capturing these things, your brain can let them go and you can relax, and then you can have new thoughts and new things come in. So those are so important.
and a CRM is great because a CRM, which is a customer management, basically platform, it allows you to segment information. So let's say you did run an amazing ad on Instagram, right? And you had 2,000 customers as first time customers the first month that you're in business. How great would it be in your CRM to not only have all your customers' information, that they purchased, the
Mhm.
product they purchased, but a note saying that these 2,000 customers are literally your first customers ever. And then guess
Mhm.
what? Every year on the anniversary of that, you send them a nice little note that says, "Hey, I just want to thank you for being one of my first customers on May 13th, 2020." Right? Like,
Yeah.
this is how you personalize a customer experience. You make a customer want to be loyal, want to buy more, convert faster. That's what this business, this sales, more revenue, more leads, more sales. That's what it's all about, is
Mhm.
optimizing customer experience. So,
I got one little trick also in that. Those
yeah,
first customers you get,
yeah.
this is your only opportunity you're ever going to have to be able to have personal one-on-one conversations with these people. The insights you're going to learn from these people, the loyalty and the knowledge you're going to gain from these people is priceless. Okay. If you're interested in a good example of this, go look up Airbnb and the time that they went and interviewed one of their very first hosts. He had a book of everything they were doing wrong and how to fix it, and that became their blueprint to be how they are now.
Wow. So take
It's an amazing
advantage when you
story.
start your business and you have these engagements and these interactions. Make the notes in a CRM. We have that on our Engage platform.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we touched on a single inbox and automation. So If you're not familiar with the concept of a single inbox, Tyson, I know you are, but if you're watching this show and you're like, what is a single inbox? It is a place where you can streamline and have all of your messages from all of your platforms come to one place. What does that do? That it frees up a lot more time, right? Because all of your messages from Instagram DM, Facebook Messenger, live chat on your website, emails, they all come to one place. We also have that tool on engage.com. And then in that place, you can answer all these questions, emails, communications. Your agents can answer them if you have agents working for you. But in a single inbox, like the one on Engage, you also have previous conversations that your agents have access to, which means questions can be answered in context. If a customer has written to you 4 times, an agent's going to see that and they're not going to say, "Hi, Mrs. Jones, how can I help you today?" They're going to say, "Mrs. Jones, I see you've been a customer since August of 2020 and that you love our Bose noise canceling headphones," right? So something like that is an incredible tool as you start to grow and scale. And then automation, having the opportunity to use automation, that gives you your time back, I think, which is something that Tyson said we are sometimes not as valuable with our time as we need to be. So automation is an excellent tool as you start to grow and scale. So bye-bye Excel spreadsheets, right? As we enter into the digital transformation, as you're getting your company onto the right social media platform, you're targeting your clients, your target demographic, because you've done the research, you've asked the questions. Now you go to engage.com. You've got 3 tools, a single inbox, a CRM, and automation options to help you now grow and get that business profitable in 2021. That's what it's all about. Boom.
You know what's good too about that single inbox? If you customize it and you have it set up where it's just base level things like your social media inboxes and just your customer service, it's easy to have freelancers kind of come and go. You're not giving them passwords and access to your Instagram, your Twitter, and your Facebook and all that stuff, and having to go through and change all those. It's really simple. You have that one inbox. You have a freelancer. Maybe they get promoted, maybe whatever. It's easy to just go in there and just change that password for that inbox, and then you lock out people's access. It makes life very, very simple.
Absolutely. And you just touched on a feature at engage.com. I'm going to pop that there. You guys screenshot this. So at the end of the show, you can go check out the platform. In our tools, you have the ability as the manager to choose who in your team can see what as well. So if you have collaborators, you can invite people to your Engage software as a collaborator, and you can give collaborators certain permissions. So there's different roles and permissions on the software. That way, as the manager, you can see what you want to see. And then your collaborators, your teammates, your agents can be assigned additional permissions so they only see what you want them to see. Bam. Telling you, we've got all your needs at engage.com. And we're so happy that they are able to produce this bi-weekly show, so we can bring these great guests like you, Tyson, to a wonderful audience on LinkedIn Live. Okay, Tyson, time is up, but I want to make sure that we share your contact information with our audience so they can reach out to you after the show if they're interested potentially in some coaching or they have other questions for you. So is LinkedIn a good place for our
Absolutely.
audience?
And if we didn't answer a question and you have an extra question you think about after, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'll be happy to answer your question.
Wonderful. Go ahead and screenshot Tyson's LinkedIn information. It's up there on the screen for you, right? Go like this. Boop, boop, boop. And then let's talk just a moment about your podcast. It's called the Social Chameleon Podcast. We popped up the website there, so everybody can go there to listen to your podcast. How often do you tape new episodes, and what is the content about on your podcast?
I try to do one a week, and it's sort of content like this. It's ideas, different strategies, maybe a book or something like that I review. I bring on guests and different things with the sole objective of getting you to learn. And then when you're learning, you have new ideas and things, you can grow. And then boom, you can transform into that person, that business, whatever you want to become. That's our goal. And that's what we try to do every week. Please check it out and let me know what you think.
Awesome. And one last comment from Clyde, who says, "Thanks for all the insights, Tyson. Great show as always, Marissa." Clyde, thank you so much for being an incredible supporter of our bi-weekly show. we're just so excited when we have people interacting on this show. We know everybody goes to watch the replay. It's easy to watch the replay, but it's so much fun to interact and be able to answer questions. So I thank you all so much today, Mike and Clyde, everybody, for your wonderful questions and your insights. All right, Tyson, it's time for me to say goodbye to you. It's time for the Engage Digital Marketing News of the Week. So, Tyson, a big thank you again for joining us. All right, guys, it is time for our digital marketing news of the week. Let me pop up that ticker. All right, so I shared this on Tuesday. We always share our news during both of our weekly shows every single week. This week, it's all about how LinkedIn is introducing a new weekly invitation limit to crack down on spammers and scammers. How many of you are happy to hear about that? So, and some very welcome news for those of us who are often targeted by LinkedIn scammers and spammers. There's a new rule that is finally going to eliminate annoying spammy emails on the LinkedIn platform. They are going to be instilling a new system that allows individuals to only send 100 invites per week, as opposed to the Lord knows how many invites that people have been sending per week up until now. So, can we say amen to that and a hallelujah to genuine connections, to building our businesses, to growing and scaling in 2021 and beyond? If you're just tuning in and you maybe missed the show and you think that Tyson Sites would be an excellent source or helpful for a friend or colleague, you can visit us at our LinkedIn page and we'll have the replay of the show on the LinkedIn page. It will also be on our Facebook page and you can find it on YouTube as well. And if you're just tuning in and you're curious about Engage, maybe some of the tools we shared today, the CRM, and the opportunity to have automation and a single inbox are tools you're thinking about utilizing in your company as you grow and scale, please go to engage.com at the end of this show, www.engage.com. It is free forever, no locks, no upgrades. Not only is there a CRM and a one single inbox, there is automation. There are opportunities and tools like live chat, bots, knowledge base, tickets, forms. Anything you can imagine that is going on in our digital world is available for you there. And there's also optional features. Have you ever thought about hosting a live stream just like this with your company? Or are you a CEO that would love to interview guests and bring more attention to your company? We also help in producing live streams for companies globally. So, wonderful things to take a look at engage.com. Okay, guys, that is it for today. I'm looking forward for you to having you join me. Gosh, by the end of the show, I'm like tongue tied. I'm looking forward to you joining me next week. Our next show is on Tuesday, May 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern. That's with our guest expert, Steve Brossman. He will teach us how to utilize untapped personal strength and standout marketing strategies to have quality clients asking to buy from you. So that is our topic next Tuesday. Please join me at 4 p.m. Eastern for that. And lastly, if you have questions or topics that you would love to explore on our show, or you're interested in more information or a demo about Engage, you can email me at marissa.m@engage.com and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Lastly, please go to Engage on LinkedIn as well. Give our company page a follow. Okay, everybody, for real, that is all. I'm going to send you all adieu to enjoy the most amazing weekend, and I'll see you back here Tuesday, May 18th, and we'll be exploring how to get quality clients to ask to buy. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.